On a sweltering August afternoon in 1997, the city of Atlanta buzzed with the sounds of summer. Cicadas droning, lawnmowers humming, the distant laughter of children drifting through open windows. In a modest house shaded by crepe myrtles, 7-year-old Emma was brimming with the restless energy of youth. Her curly brown hair bounced as she skipped across her bedroom, the faded pink cover of her diary clutched in one hand. She placed it carefully on her desk, its pages already filled with secrets, dreams, and childish scrawls. Outside, the world beckoned. Dressed in her favorite yellow dress dotted with tiny white daisies, Emma dashed into the backyard, her new jump rope trailing behind her like a bright ribbon. The sunlight caught in her green eyes, sparkling with the promise of an endless summer. Inside, her mother Olivia watched through the kitchen window, a gentle smile tugging at her lips as she stirred a pot of soup. For a moment, she allowed herself to linger in the comfort of routine, the simple joy of seeing her daughter play. But when she looked back, the yard was empty. Emma was gone. At first, Olivia's concern was mild, almost playful. She called out Emma's name, expecting her to pop out from behind the shed or giggle from beneath the old oak tree. But as the minutes slipped by and the only reply was the wind rustling through the grass, unease crept in. The backyard, once a sanctuary, began to feel unfamiliar and threatening. The fence at the back of the yard, tall and weathered, had always been a boundary Emma was forbidden to cross. Olivia's heart hammered as she noticed the gate standing slightly ajar, its rusty hinges squealing in the breeze. She called again, her voice breaking, and pushed the gate open to peer into the alley beyond. There was nothing but shadows and silence. Panic spread quickly. Neighbors joined the search, their voices echoing down the block, calling Emma's name with growing urgency. Flyers appeared on telephone poles and in shop windows, bearing Emma's photograph and a plea for her safe return. Days blurred into weeks, hope flickering and fading with each fruitless search. Emma's pink diary remained untouched on her desk, a silent witness to the day her world changed forever. Olivia's life contracted around the search for her daughter. She left her job, her friendships faded, and her days revolved around retracing steps, questioning strangers, and keeping the porch light burning late into the night. She haunted the places Emma loved, the playground, the corner store, the library, searching for any sign she might return. Seasons turned. The backyard grew wild, Emma's toys gathering dust beneath the overgrown grass. Her yellow dress, once so vibrant, hung limp and forgotten in the closet. Olivia's grief became a constant companion, heavy and unyielding. Yet, beneath the sorrow, a stubborn ember of hope refused to be extinguished. 10 years passed. By 2007, Emma's case had gone cold. The world moved on, but Olivia remained anchored to that day, unable to let go. On what would have been Emma's 17th birthday, Olivia found herself drawn to the alley behind her house. The neighborhood had changed. New paint on old garages, deeper cracks in the pavement. But the ache in Olivia's heart remained the same. Leaning against the fence, Olivia's tears fell freely. She was startled by the voice of an elderly man in a blue uniform, working a few doors down. His name was Mr. Harris, and he was clearing out the belongings of a recently vacated house. Something in his demeanor, a kindness, or perhaps a shared sorrow, compelled Olivia to speak. When she mentioned her daughter, Mr. Harris's expression darkened. He recalled seeing a stranger in the alley on the day Emma disappeared, a woman with a wide-brimmed straw hat and a red tote bag, someone he'd never seen before or since. It was a detail Olivia had never heard, and it reignited the hope she thought had long since died. With this new lead, Olivia turned to the authorities, but their interest had faded with time. Undeterred, she hired a private investigator named Marcus Hayes, a man known for his persistence and empathy. Together, they began the painstaking process of reconstructing the events of that day and the days that followed. Their search led them to rental records and witness statements. Piece by piece, they uncovered the identity of the mysterious woman, Laura Benson, a name that quickly unraveled into a web of aliases. The woman's real name was Diana Keaton, a former nurse with a troubled past and a history of moving frequently, always under a new identity. The possibility that Diana had taken Emma was terrifying, but it also offered a sliver of hope. If Emma had been taken, perhaps she was still alive. Olivia and Marcus expanded their search, combing through adoption records, school enrollments, and hospital visits across several states. Each lead seemed to end in disappointment, but Olivia refused to give up. Every closed door only fueled her determination. Then, a breakthrough. A grainy photograph surfaced from a county fair in Alabama, dated 8 years after Emma's disappearance. It showed a teenage girl beside a woman who bore a striking resemblance to Diana Keaton. The girl's green eyes and familiar smile sent a jolt through Olivia's heart. Marcus tracked down the photographer, who remembered the pair and the small town where the fair had taken place. Olivia and Marcus traveled there, hearts pounding with hope and fear. They showed the photograph to locals, most of whom shook their heads, but a diner cashier recognized them. The woman and girl had lived in a trailer on the outskirts of town before leaving abruptly one night. Further investigation revealed that Diana had rented the trailer under yet another alias. A librarian recalled the girl known as Ellie, who spent hours reading about distant cities, especially New York. She dreamed of escape, of finding something more. This small clue became Olivia's lifeline. If Emma had dreamed of New York, perhaps she had made her way there. Months of searching led them to a women's shelter in Queens. The staff remembered a young woman fitting Emma's description, calling herself Ellie Keaton. She was shy, gentle, and seemed to carry the weight of the world on her shoulders. Before she left, she had written a note, looking for home. For Olivia, the message was a lifeline thrown across the years. Emma was searching too. Marcus scoured social media and missing persons forums. One night, Olivia found a blog written by a young woman named Ellie Kay. The posts were filled with fragmented memories. A pink diary, a white fence, the scent of soup in the kitchen, a mother's voice calling her home. Olivia knew. She reached out through the blog, arranging to meet in a small Manhattan cafe. The wait was agonizing. Every second felt heavy, with the possibility of heartbreak or reunion. At last, a young woman entered, her curly brown hair framing a face Olivia would have recognized anywhere. Their eyes met, and time seemed to collapse. Olivia rose, arms open, and Emma ran to her, tears streaming down her face. They held each other tightly, the years of pain and longing melting away in a single breathless embrace. Over coffee, Emma told her story. Taken by Diana, she had been moved from place to place, always under a new name. Diana had told her that her family no longer wanted her, a lie Emma had struggled to accept. As she grew older, memories of her real life began to resurface. The diary, the backyard, her mother's love. It took all her courage to run away and start searching for the truth. Rebuilding their relationship was not easy. There were wounds that time could not erase, and both mother and daughter carried scars from the years apart. But together, they were determined to heal. Emma returned to Atlanta, moving back into the house where she had once played beneath the summer sun. Olivia restored the backyard, planting new flowers and mending the old fence. They spent long afternoons reading together, creating new memories and honoring the old. One evening, Emma found her pink diary, preserved all these years. She turned its pages, smiling through tears at the hopes and dreams of her childhood self. Picking up a pen, she wrote a new entry. I found my way home. Their journey had been long and painful, but it ended with hope. A hope Olivia had never surrendered. Some wounds never fully heal, but love can bridge even the deepest divides. In their little house in Atlanta, as the sun set beyond the mended fence, a mother and daughter finally found peace. Their hearts forever bound by the unbreakable ties of family and the enduring power of hope.